I know. Okay, let's get the work session in the city of Crossville started. First thing is a roll call, and I'd just like to report that all members are present except for Mayor Crawford. First thing we do is public comment, and I have one person who's turned in a card. Is there anybody else? If anybody else wants to speak, just let me know. So we have Victor Terrasso. I'll talk about my great judgment.
Thank you. Like you said, my name is Victor Terrasso, and I'm with the Crossville Cruisers, and I just wanted to take a moment to thank you all for approving the 2025 cruise-ins that we have. It started out being a little rough with the weather, but we still had 125 cars show up, which is maybe just about half always, but 125 is a lot. I'd also like to thank the police department and the city workers for doing a fine job. There was no traffic issues, which I thought was awesome. And then I look up here and I see 7 people, or I see 6 people, but 7 names. 5 of the 7 have been out to pick the car that they like. Councilman Gert was out the last time and picked a car, and the owner of the car was just ecstatic that you picked his car. So hopefully we can get Councilman Fox and Councilman Mayberry in either June or July to come out and pick a car of their choice. This next month we've got TCAT coming out. They're going to, we donated $1,000 to their automotive program scholarship, so they're going to come out and pick up a car. But again, thank you very much.
What kind of car did Art pick?
I got to look.
It was cool. It was a
Packard.
Yeah, it was a Packard, and I'm trying to remember what model it was. And it was a patinaed type car, but it was a really, really cool car. So, and it wasn't the run of the mill, and which I thought was cool. A lot of times people just vote for paint and chrome.
Yeah, it was a Packard Super Clipper.
All right. What year?
Oh,
Early 50s or late 40s.
yeah, that's what I was, late 40s was.
So I didn't hand out the awards this time, so I didn't look at exactly what model and year
Very
it was.
good, Art. Very good.
Oh, yeah, and they get a really cool trophy from us. It's pretty neat.
Thanks again.
So,
Thank you.
all right, thank you. All right, let's get this ball rolling.
I didn't have an agenda.
I'm sorry, what?
I need an agenda. Give me that thing.
All right, let's start with the discussion and action of contract with Crab Orchard Utility District. And I'll introduce Joe Wyatt, who's handling this for us. And Tim Begley may want to speak up. And by the way, tonight, please come up to the mic and speak into the mic since we're recording this.
Good evening, council members, ladies and gentlemen. My name is Joe Wyatt. I'm a local attorney here in Cumberland County, and I put a bid in for this position as there was a conflict with the city attorney, Mr. Randy York, and I've drafted a contract between the city of Crossville and Crab Orchard Utility District, which is Crab Orchard Utility District. It is anticipated they're going to merge in with the Cumberland Plateau Water Authority. That merger seems to be soon. However, the primary goal of this contract is for the city of Crossville to sell to the Crab Orchard Utility District treated water as a need has been shown by the engineer, and I'll let him speak to that if he would.
We received an $8 million ARPA grant. We can't move forward with the grant until this contract is in place. TDEC will not approve the water plans for the pump station or the line until this contract is completed. About 4 to 5 weeks ago, we met with Crab Orchard, and we also met with Jeff Dyer from Cumberland Water Authority, and we discussed this contract. Since then, I made some notes and changes. All of my changes were in engineering terms. Nathan came up with a formula to go in there to come up with the water rate. They weren't happy with the original water rate, and I think they will be happy with this one. I emailed that to Mr. White, and I think he's incorporated my engineering wording very well into this contract, more into legal terms.
Tim, is this to sell water to the Crab Orchard Utility District or sell water to the Cumberland Plateau Waters?
It currently says Crab Orchard Utility District, and I have a question with our grant administrator, how that needs to change if they merge before everybody approves it. And we think that we can leave the word Crab Orchard Utility District in there and do a DBA as the Plateau Water Authority.
So this is not the city joining anything?
No, we're not joining anything. We're just selling water, and we're making sure that Crab Orchard is going to pay us back for the 5% of the assets that they are going to own once this project's completed.
And I might add, the rate that's on the contract and the formula allows us to evaluate this every year so that we don't get into a situation where we're selling money or selling water at a loss. So it allows us the opportunity to evaluate that annually.
Good deal.
And the minimum is 300,000 gallons.
Do we know what they will be requesting daily approximately?
I think it's approximately going to be around 700,000 gallons, but the council voted back in
Minimum of 300 up to a
2019 or
million, wasn't
18
it?
up to $1 million, and this contract is maximized out at $1 million. If they have an issue for a certain day, if they have a break or something, and we have to sell them more water, we can do that, but it takes approval, city manager's approval to do that.
Right.
Any further questions? Thank you. Appreciate it.
I would like to say that it's pretty urgent that we get this contract approved as soon as we can, because these projects have to be completed by September 2026. Crab Orchard has only seen this today, so we might do a few tweaks between now and the meeting next week if they want some things changed, and we will work with Mr. White to get those changes made if there are any. I don't anticipate any. I think we've got everything that they had listed on the first round taken care of, but we might tweak it a little bit, and if we tweak it, it probably needs to come out of the consent agenda.
Well, if you tweak it a little bit and you put it on the agenda for next week, will that give us time enough to look at the tweaks?
The agenda will at least go out by Friday. So
If there are any changes between Friday and Tuesday, I'll send them directly to
It'll be
you all.
highlighted?
Yes. I'll make sure you all know that.
Okay.
Could I say something also? As you know, I'm also the attorney for Crab Orchard Utility District. Crab Orchard Utility District and the Water Authority have petitioned the county mayor to hold a public hearing, and then after the public hearing is held, then the county mayor will have to make a determination of whether to allow the merger or not. We believe that the merger is imminent, and the public hearing is scheduled for the 13th to give you an idea about the time frame, the same night that we hold our meeting. And probably that night or the following day, if the mayor determines so, then Crab Orchard would cease to exist. And so that's why the contract, if you look at the contract, also has a place for Cumberland Plateau Water Authority to sign as the assignor or the assignee of these contracts.
Okay. Thank you. Thank you, guys. All right, next are matters relative to Crossville Fire EMS. Dr. Fox?
Thank you, sir. At the last work session, some of the council members had some specific questions, things that I checked on, things that they wondered about, so I wanted to bring those. It's new information. I wanted to bring that information back to the work session tonight. An update on, many of you may have been watching a bill go through Tennessee General Assembly this spring. It's Senate Bill 160. And it's a bill that, if passed, could require municipalities to pay counties for the provision of emergency medical services inside that municipality based on population up to 50% of their cost of providing service. This bill was amended with a study for the Tasser Group to do a study on that, but what's significant is this bill made it through both houses all the way. It's sitting on the governor's desk now to sign. May have signed it today. I haven't checked it today. With 0 objections. 0 objections on its way through. Now, granted, it's in a bill to be studied, but that's very significant in that if that was to go through next spring, municipalities could pay counties for the provision of that service. So that's something certainly that we're watching. Also, a question was asked about hospital transports of patients to out-of-town entities. There was question about who's responsible for that. Our hospital has affirmed that by default, they have an agreement with Cumberland County EMS to do those transports. And I've got that in writing as well.
Is that a written agreement, Dr. Fox, or verbal?
I don't know. He just said by default, we
Okay.
have an agreement to do that. I also communicated with the Tennessee Healthcare Facilities Commission in Nashville, and they also affirmed that it's the responsibility of either the transferring or the receiving hospital to coordinate arrangements for those transports. And it has to be looked at so that no patient care matters fall through the cracks. But they did affirm that that's the responsibility of the transferring or the receiving hospital to verify that that's overseen. Someone asked about the possibility of having a meeting with Director Miller. He's in our audience tonight. The 21st of last month, I hosted a meeting to discuss this issue in the public, and Director Miller and 4 of his staff attended that meeting, and we had some good dialogue back and forth, very enthusiastic meeting. And I just want to highlight a few points from that meeting because, again, one of the questions here that the mayor asked last time is addressed in this. Director Miller affirmed that he said about 80% was the number he used of the 12 or 13,000 calls that Cumberland County EMS receives in a year, or 50 to 60% originate in the city of Crossville. He also said he's continuing to try to keep 2 units in Fairfield Glade, 1 at Tansy, 1 at Crab Orchard, 1 at Plateau, 1 at Pleasant Hill, and 1 at the Genesis Road Station as staffing part-time allows. Mayor Crawford's particular question was the possibility of requesting that 3 EMS units be dedicated to remain in Crossville unless there was a mutual aid request or a disaster or something had to be honored of that nature. That could 3 be dedicated to remain in Crossville? And Director Miller advised that that would not really be supported or something that he would think would work. Since they are a county service, they really can't specify keeping resources in a given location. We also discussed, this came up as a question, about response times in the city of Crossville. Our director of our 911 center has informed me in writing that their software does not allow dispatch and arrival times of a given service to be separated where they originate from the city versus the county. So estimated times of arrival or average times cannot be pulled from that data. And that's Director Ritzman affirms that in writing. That was a particular question.
Mark, does the EMS already dedicate resources to certain areas?
Well, as I said, Director Miller said he's trying to keep 2 units at Fairfield, a unit at Pleasant Hill, as his staffing allows, obviously, but Tansy and so forth. So he's trying to keep
Okay.
the units in those locations to help serve the county. It's also, everyone was in agreement that the current demand on our EMS with out-of-town units definitely prolongs some folks' time of transport from our hospital waiting to go to other facilities, other out-of-town hospitals, higher levels of care. And also, just on a note, the EMS folks at the meeting expressed their frustration and disappointment that in the presentation that I made at the April work session, that their staff was referred to as ambulance drivers. And I assured them that, to my knowledge, the person who made that comment meant no derogatory or demeaning nature toward those employees. So that was the questions that I was asked last meeting and the information that I found out, Mr. Mayor Pro Tem.
Okay, thank you.
I've received an operational plan, proposed operational plan from Chief South, which I haven't had time to fully review. I'd like an opportunity to review that with our finance director and go over some numbers that he had previously. So if you will allow that, give me some time to do that.
Valerie, I think there's a lot of numbers we need to go over. As far as how's it going to be paid for? Is it through property tax increase? Is it through sales tax? There's lots of things we don't know yet.
Right.
Or is it no property tax increase?
We have a work session coming up on May 20th, so,
Sure.
or for a retreat, so I think that'd be a good time to take this up and
Sure.
in a better form of, better setting for us. One thing I need to point out, I haven't ran a meeting in a while, so on number one, we need to put that on the agenda, please. And then this, we will move it to the retreat.
The EMS part?
Yes.
Okay.
Okay, let's see here. Leah's here to talk about the approval of the 25-26 TCRS rate.
It's that time of year where we review the TCRS contribution. It's recommended that's 4.87. However, we're recommending to round it up to 15%.
However, what?
Say 14.87?
14.87,
Oh, okay.
yes. 15%, recommending rounding it up to 15% from 14.87.
Okay.
We recommend approval of that and adding it to the agenda, please.
Please add to the agenda. Well, now we're going to talk about the budget. I guess Nathan going to take that up. Ordinance approving the budget in title only and our tax rate and any.
Yeah, the capital improvement plan is item number 4.
I missed it.
That's okay. You have received that in your legislative text. It's a very lengthy document. I'm happy to go over the highlights with you. By department, Catoosa has submitted some items for 25, 26, 27, and 28 that equal $585,000, mainly meters and utility relocation, which will be reimbursed by TDOT. There's a recommendation to replace the flooring at City Hall in the amount of $175,000. The fire department requesting some life packs and vehicle replacement. And then Leisure Services has several items for the Palace, the Depot, Centennial basketball upgrade, vehicle, leveling campground at Meadow Park Lake, and the inclusive playground that we've applied for, pickleball lighting. A lot of these items we have included in this year's budget, so we will be moving them out of this capital plan. And then there are also some items that we've taken out of this year's budget that were scheduled to go in from the capital plan. So we'll get all that worked out before Tuesday. We've been working on the budget as much as yesterday, so we haven't finished those changes yet. Maintenance department, a service truck, police department, HVAC unit. Their entire building is going to have to be rewired and the units replaced. Water and sewer utility maintenance, $760,000 for town loop water line replacement in Livingston Road. And then Viola has some items in there for equipment basically at the plant And Water Resources has several items in this year's budget, in addition to a proposal for a $4 million ceramic filter replacement for next year. And those are the new items that are added.
Okay,
I recommend approval on this agenda, please.
move that to the agenda too.
And Mr. Pro Tem, just for comparison, will you have a list, Valerie, of things that were removed?
Yes, I can provide that,
Okay,
yes, sure.
all right, then.
Any other questions? All right, let's move on to 5, 6, and 7.
In out of respect for everybody, I appreciate being here. I did not put anything on the screens. It's hard to turn around and see, especially an Excel spreadsheet on the screen. So I provided everybody
You've got a hard copy on your desk.
hard
Thank
copy
you.
on your desk.
We can't see it.
That's bound, and it also has a table of contents for you for easy access. Like I said, I did email these on Friday, but I went ahead and did it a little different so you could have it for the meeting tonight. I thought just to cover the major general fund tonight, looking at this, the summary on page 2, as you can see, we are showing a surplus right now of almost $112,000. I will say, first let me say, working with the department heads and the city manager on this budget now for the last couple of months, it has been a real team effort to get this budget where it is. I appreciate all the department heads sitting down and the city manager sitting down and going through line item by line item to make this budget what it is currently. I will say, I was going to go over the revenues. The actual revenues, starting on page 3, and they go through page 6. The total revenue compared from last year to this year, I've actually estimating it a little lower. I did raise the the property taxes up a little bit. I've left, as far as sales tax and most other taxes, I've left them stagnant or actually reduced them a little bit. Kind of figuring out how the next financial year is going to be has been a little tricky with all the current stuff happening. It's kind of hard to estimate how it's going to be. So I did either leave them stagnant or dropped them actually a little bit. I did drop our interest income down significantly, which is on page 5. I lowered the estimate down about $200,000 in anticipation of future reduction in interest rates by the Federal Reserve. So like I said, the overall revenue is actually showing a little less than last year. But I do think that we're projecting some conservative estimates on that in respect to what's happening everywhere right now. I will say, of course, I've got each one of the departments listed. Going forward, I will say, I don't know if you want me to cover department by department. I will say that we have, in general, as far as Parks and Rec and maintenance, we did add an employee to each one of those, so they get an additional employee. We also added, of course, several part-time employees for maintenance and Parks and Rec and Meadow Park. All that's in there. The budget does have a 5% cost of living increase for wages and a 2% step added in as well.
If I could add to that for just a moment, adding the employees, we're asking our staff to do a lot more projects that we would actually be hiring. They've done a fantastic job on all of those projects, so they really need more staff to help them cover all those special projects that we're requesting.
And you said 5%, Nathan, for what?
Cost of living and then the 2% step.
Okay. I was getting sick. I was getting sick, but I'm not worried about it.
Like I said, I can go department by department if you'd like. As the city manager pointed out, we did include some specific projects. If you look through here, some things you'll see that actually aren't in the, we have several vehicles listed for purchase, and there's about 10 of the lease vehicles coming up this next year that are coming out of lease. So if you look down in these departments, you see a truck or a vehicle purchase. Those are probably the lease vehicles that are coming out that we'll be looking at purchasing. We will really evaluate if we need them at the time, but they're already included. That happens for several of them. We do have a mower for maintenance. We did put in for let's see, we get here for anything else that We do have the engineering part of the heat and air unit in the police budget already. I will say, if you look at the fire hall beginning on page 26, but on page 27, last year we listed the Station 2 actually in the fire department. I moved it to capital projects this year. I think it's more of a capital project than being just under the fire department itself. That's why there's nothing budgeted for this year under fire department. It's actually in capital projects.
That's the one down here?
The new one
Capital?
being built over,
Oh.
that's for the new fire hall, Fire Station 2.
What about,
Renovations.
Street down here and gonna build
The improvements to Fire Station 1?
one, yeah.
It's also in capital improvements right now as well.
Okay.
I'll look at that in just a minute. Like I said, I know I'm trying not to go too fast. I know there's a lot to look through. I don't know, like I said, if you want to do item by item, I will, but I don't think there's any. This was done, I will say, we spent a lot of time. I did over 10 years of historical data, going back and looking at these numbers, trying to see how things would go. I do have, let's see, I was trying to think as far as the capital
I have a
project.
question.
Yes, sir.
Looking at our rescue, our excellent Cumberland County Rescue Squad, it's always 10,000. I thought we were going to up that this year.
They requested the 10. I put in there exactly what they requested.
How can I make, I'd like to change that. Have to be in the meeting, Mayor. Have to be in the meeting, Mayor Pro Tem?
Yes.
No, I think we can take your suggestion, and
And
the
we
first
can-
reading has not occurred yet, so.
I can incorporate in
Yeah.
there if you want to incorporate a change into there.
Okay.
That's fine. What were you suggesting that we do as far as changing the rescue squad?
That's what they requested.
Yeah, they
On page
requested
27,
10.
is that what you're
Yeah, I
referring
was
to?
at 27.
Yeah, they
page-
requested the 10,000 as they have previously requested.
Mhm.
Were you wanting to make a change to that,
I
Councilman
had
Turner?
a discussion with a squad member, I don't know, may have been during the fire, that they would like to have you may have said a percentage step above what they had last year, so I need to do my homework, I guess.
They need to request it.
Huh?
They need to request it.
No, they didn't, but I was just talking to a rescue squad, it may have been the captain, I can't remember it, I think it was during the fire. But anyway,
If you can give me that information, I'll
I'll
see.
look into it.
Thank you,
Two
Councilman.
more opportunities to do that.
Do what? I'm sorry.
So there'll be two more opportunities at least.
Yeah, we got plenty of opportunities left. I will say, one of the capital projects, one of the things listed in the capital plan, I did put a mini excavator in the cemeteries. I know they requested that. We did put the pickleball courts in for Parks and Rec, as well as, of course, they got their vehicles. I know we've looked at a couple of grants for them. I will say those items, like the all-inclusive playground, are not listed because we're not sure about the grants yet. So I've not included those in at this time. We did put in some new seats for auditorium at the Palace, doing the donor wall where they tore up the sidewalk, took out the names there. We got a donor wall that we're planning on doing there, as well as some floor tile for that as well. As far as the depot goes, which is on page 44, we're putting some new windows in, looking at a new sign and redoing their parking lot. It's kind of falling apart, and paving that.
How about the Christmas tree? Is it gonna be okay?
Carolyn says it's good. She thinks it's going to be all right. It's going to live.
I will say that I went ahead, and see, we're not quite there yet, on the debt service, which, well, let me talk about your outside agencies, which is on page 46. Those amounts are, I put in the amounts that they actually had last year. I'd sent all the requests to you. A few of them asked for an increase, but I left them as they were the previous year. If you didn't know that part. our debt service on page 48.
I mean, can I go back to
Absolutely.
outside aid? Hospice. Did they request 7,500?
That was actually what they did 2 years ago. I can't remember if they requested, I had to look back at the notes on that one. I think it was 75.
46.
But we only did 5, which is what we did the year before. They did increase it some in the request. I don't remember the exact number off the top of my head.
So
But-
have they requested more than 5,000?
Yes, sir, I'm pretty
You
sure
know
they
what
did.
the figure is?
I can get it to you. I don't have it with me.
Okay.
I do think they increased it. It may have been 7,500 to 10,000. I can't remember. Was it maybe 10?
10,000 seems familiar.
Yeah, I think they may have doubled their request from last year, if I remember correctly.
Did you get that, find out?
Yes.
You think it's for sure?
Yeah, I'll put it down. I'll send it to you for
Okay.
further assurance. As far as debt service goes, I will tell you, I did include a payment for the fire hall, should we decide to do a loan on that one. I did go ahead and put a payment in there so that that's built in when and if that goes through. That's normally not there. Of course, outside agencies also had the Sports Authority in it, which is new this year as well. It's about 2.3, almost 2.4.
Is that Habitat for Humanity actually funds, or is that?
It is, we give them taps, they get,
Yeah.
so that's 3 taps that we
Okay.
provide.
That, I knew it was something.
Yes, sir.
And the Veterans Honor Guard also, I mean, they do a lot of funerals, our veterans do.
I don't think they actually requested an increase, if I remember
That's what
correctly.
I was looking at, it's $1,000. I mean, if they said that's insufficient, sufficient,
I think they requested the same. I'll go back and look and re-verify that for you.
check that one for me.
Absolutely. Are there any questions, anything else on the general fund itself?
Any further questions? I think we're good.
That's further on that? Okay. We can present some more funds at the next meeting. That was the main one for this one. If you have any other questions, please feel free to reach
I would
out
just
to
like
me.
to see our employees go up to the 6% instead of 5%. That's just my opinion.
I can run and see how that would impact that if you'd like me to.
We need to talk about the tax rate. I mean,
I'm not requesting any increase in the tax rate this year, so as of right now, it's
and
staying.
that'll be made through a motion at the meetings, okay, and then, that's good.
Wait a minute, Nathan, wait a minute. I said 6. What was your original for the
It was 5% for cost of living and 2% steps, so it's total 7.
7? Well, I'll say 8. I'm sorry.
Okay.
I misspoke.
I figured you meant instead of the 5
Yeah.
cost of living, you wanted 6.
Yeah, I would like to see 8. Could you run that for me?
I'll run that for you. Yes, ma'am. Yes, sir, I will. Yeah, I'm not recommending any tax rate increase at this time. As far as that goes, no property tax rate increase.
Okay. Well, thank you very much. And we need to put those 3 items on the agenda.
This
4
will be
items.
titled only
4
for next
items.
week.
Yeah. 4 through 7.
Thank you, counsel.
Okay, now we're going to talk about bankruptcy notices, and our attorney is going to lead this.
Never thought I'd be talking about bankruptcy notices. Periodically, we get notice that someone has filed bankruptcy, and they list the city of Crossville as a creditor. Oftentimes, it's for a very small amount, like for a water bill or electric bill or something like that. So the question becomes, when should I, as the city attorney, file a proof of claim and appear in bankruptcy court on behalf of the city? So I think that I didn't want to be spending good money after bad, for lack of a better way of saying it, going to bankruptcy court on a $100 claim. So I think that there needs to be a limit on a minimum limit on what you want me to pursue on bankruptcy claims. We've had one recently, and we've had one that's in the $17,000 mark. So obviously, we'll pursue that one. But for these de minimis type accounts, it's almost, there should
What
be
do you
something.
think?
Yeah.
What do you think? 1,000, 1,500, what?
I would think $1,000.
Okay.
That makes sense to me.
Total number out there, 500 to 1,000.
Okay. Well, don't leave. Are you going to talk about the parking lot leases? We need to put that on the agenda, please.
The parking lot lease, we have reviewed that, not once, but several times. I think we've got it in final form as of today that is satisfactory, at least to the city. And so I think we're ready to move. There are some issues that I was concerned about that we've tried to address. On this parking lot, or in the general vicinity, there's been damage to some buildings from water lines that have ruptured, or sewer lines, or runoff lines, or something. We don't know what's underneath that parking lot, so I wanted to make sure that we didn't assume that liability. And so there's some language in there to that effect. What Mayor Foster has suggested is that neither party knows what's underneath that parking lot, and that we would work together in a good faith effort to resolve any issues that come up. And so that's the only thing that really concerns me about it.
Such as could be underground fuel tank or anything like that under there?
No, I'm not worried about an underground fuel tank, but if you'll recall, there was a building where there was a rupture of a line, and water was flowing underneath the building. That concerned me, and so that's really what I was concerned about.
Were we approached about potentially leasing this parking lot after the county commission had decided to offer it to us, or before? Had they formally acted on it as a commission?
It was proposed before they took it to their commission.
This is a non-assignable contract, if I recall correctly, without permission of the county commission.
It will go to their commission next week if you all approve it. And there may be some changes that will still have to be made before Tuesday.
So
The county's reviewing it currently. It was sent this afternoon.
So if we lease this, the county wants the city to pave it all at the city's expense, correct?
That's correct.
And the county isn't willing to share that cost?
No, they purchased the property.
I understand.
Yeah. So we'll be carrying the insurance and paving it.
Maintaining it as
Maintaining.
well.
How much was that? It was like 70-something thousand?
It's a 15-year contract. The consideration is $100. There has to be some consideration paid for support of any contract. It's anticipated that the cost of everything that you're discussing there, Mr. Turner, is $60,000.
Okay. And that was $100 lease for 15 years? Is that what you?
$100 for 15 years.
Yeah.
Not $100 per year, but
Yeah.
one-time payment.
One time. Got it.
Gotcha. Thank you. Please put that on the agenda, Bailey. And we need approval to temporarily close a portion of Livingston Road. Tim, you want to fill us in?
Get very close.
Just in the indoor recreation facility plans, we had reviewed that with realigning Livingston Road from not far from Penfield on up to 127. The intersection will not line up with the street as it does on this side now. It'll turn and come up by the Church Across parking lot. And in order to do that, it'll have some storm drainage, and it needs to be realigned just a little bit off of center of where it's at now on Livingston Road. There'll be some storm drainage, curb and gutter, and sidewalk on the YMCA side. We'll still have a ditch on the church side. But in order to do that, the contractor needs to close the road for full reconstruction, and they're wanting to close it for 9 months between Penfield and 127. When they reopen the road in 9 months, it will not have the final asphalt. They want to wait until the final asphalt goes down on the parking lot at the YMCA before they do that. So it'll reopen with a binder with temporary striping on it.
So when the center is complete, Livingston will not be closed permanently?
No, actually Livingston will reopen before the center is opened up. So, right now they have a schedule of 9 months, which would be reopening the Livingston around January. But there's some weather-dependent things like the asphalt and things like that they'll could be a little bit longer. But if it's longer, we'll bring it back to you. The contractor wants to start on the 14th. I would suggest that you hold them off for another week after you vote on it next week, and let us advertise it for a full week so that the public's fully aware. We can't really advertise until you all vote on it, and I feel like it'd be better if we waited a week.
Has anybody talked to the church?
We have talked to the church, not about the closure. We talked to them about the realignment and how we might, they're losing their driveway. And they were okay with that. City manager and I will get back in touch with them again and talk to them about this closure also.
Thank you.
So I would like to add that the road's currently in right-of-way, and when they put the turn in it and bring it up by the parking lot, it's going to be on property that is in the Sports Authority's name. We're working on the documents to trade that property. We really don't want to trade that property as long as we've got traffic on that road. So once we get those documents together during this closure, we will bring those back to you to vote to somewhat trade property there.
Okay. So we need to place that on the agenda? Thank you, sir. The next, let's talk about the next three items together. These are all budget items. Approval of the fertilizer bid, approval of the award bid for cold mining, 25-26.
Milling.
Cold milling.
Yeah, I didn't think it was that big of a goal.
I can't, yes, coal mining, just kidding. Let's see here, and then approval to award bid of water treatment chemicals.
Moving it to next week.
One note I'd like to add on the fertilizer bid, we made a mistake last month in giving you the wrong name, so we'll need to rescind that award from last month and actually award it to the Hogan Company, which was the actual low bidder.
Okay. Please put those three items on the agenda. Make sure I don't miss one. Approval to award RFQ for fuel tank removal.
Approval is requested to award the assessment for the Bragg grant, which is assessment of the fuel tanks in the city. And we recommend Montrose Environmental Solutions to do that assessment through the Bragg grant.
Is that the one right off Main Street?
That's one of them, yes.
Where's that?
Did we get rid of the one at Cullings, the water tank?
Yes,
It's gone?
yes. That was done, I believe, last year. Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay, put that on the agenda. And approval of bid for new Catoosa Department Office Site Improvement.
Low bid was J. Paul Construction in the amount of $47,412.70. We received two bids and recommend the low bid.
Okay, put that on the agenda. Approval of engineering services for Police Department HVAC.
Yes, this is for an evaluation and a plan to replace the HVAC at the police department. The amount is only $16,750. It normally wouldn't come to you, but it does involve a contract, so we're asking for approval of the contract.
Okay, please place that on the agenda. Let's see. approval of contract amendment for engineering services regarding Meadow Park Lake expansion. Tim? Hey, Tim, Meadow Park Lake expansion?
I believe it's amendment number 5 to Walker's contract. It's $50,000, and it should finish up their work as far as the permit application for raising the lake at Meadow Park. There will be two more contracts that I'll be bringing to you. One is with an environmental firm and some of the documentation that needs to go in this permit. And the other is for the mitigation work to move forward with that.
Okay. Thank you. Put that on the agenda, please. And approval of certificate of compliance for Bargain Barn DBA grocery outlet, number 11.
That's United Grocery Outlet. They're going to be selling wine, and they're asking for a certificate of compliance.
Oh,
Recommend approval.
any comments on that? Please put that on the agenda. And finally, Building Codes Board of Appeals. And
We have 3 terms expiring: Chuck Burgess, Ronnie White, and Jamie Smith. The city clerk has been able to reach all of them except Jamie Smith. Chuck and Ronnie have agreed to continue their terms.
so do we need to find one other person, or are we still trying to reach?
I can continue to reach out, but if you all have a name. that
Have a
would
name
be-
ready?
Yeah.
Okay.
I've emailed him 2 or 3 times, but I don't have his phone number.
Tim might have his phone number. Jamie Smith? No? Okay.
Okay. Okay. Please put that on the agenda as well. And finally, the Personnel Board, number 20. We have appointment for the Personnel Board, and let's see what this says.
Matt Dukes and Kim Tabor, their terms will expire July the 1st. So 2 names will need to be submitted. They cannot succeed themselves, so it'll have to be 2 new members. We're open for suggestions.
Okay, who out there wants on that board? Wow. It's going to be hard to choose from all of you. Okay, we need to find 2 names for that.
By
And
next
do they
week.
have to
By
be
next
city
week.
residents? They need to be city residents.
And, oh,
City residents.
city
Yes.
residents, yeah, okay. All right,
I had a question, Mayor Pro Tem.
Yes,
For
sir.
Nathan, I'm sorry, Nathan. Do we, going back to page 46, outside agencies, do we know what the rescue squad, hospice, and the Veterans Honor Guard is requesting from the county?
I do not. I do not have that
Can we
information.
find that out?
I'll reach out to Ms. Turner over there and see if she can tell me what they're requesting as well.
Okay, thank you.
I've got one question, and that may be for Tim, I'm not sure, but we were just talking about hiring an engineering firm to analyze the heat and air at the police station. Why would we hire an engineering firm to analyze the heat and air at the police station?
They have 5 units, I believe.
So?
And go ahead, Tim.
Just the equipment alone is somewhere between $130,000 and $150,000. So the upgrades are over $50,000, and I'll say a lot of
Really? Learn something every day. That's in government buildings only, not privately owned, correct? I don't need an engineer.
Is looked at closer, but probably should be offered.
Okay. Never mind.
anything else for the good of Crossville? Let's adjourn.
That was painless.
Only messed up